Welcome to this soothing journey through the fascinating world of the armchair historian phenomenon. In our busy modern lives, the study of history has transformed from dusty textbooks to engaging digital storytelling that captivates millions around the globe. The term armchair historian once carried a slightly dismissive connotation, referring to those who studied history without formal training or field work. Yet today, it represents a vibrant community of passionate individuals who have revolutionized how we consume and appreciate the lessons of our past. These dedicated content creators have built bridges between academic historical research and the general public, making complex historical narratives accessible and entertaining for audiences of all backgrounds. The digital age has witnessed an extraordinary democratization of historical knowledge, allowing anyone with curiosity and dedication to explore and share historical insights with unprecedented reach. What makes this phenomenon particularly significant is how it has reignited interest in history among younger generations who might otherwise find traditional historical education uninspiring. Through compelling visuals, dramatic narration, and thoughtful analysis, armchair historians create immersive experiences that transport listeners and viewers across time and space to witness pivotal moments that shaped our world. Their ability to humanize historical figures and events helps audiences connect emotionally with the past, fostering a deeper understanding of how historical forces continue to influence our present circumstances. The importance of this movement cannot be overstated in an era where historical literacy faces numerous challenges. As formal education systems often struggle to allocate sufficient time for in-depth historical studies, these passionate communicators fill crucial gaps in public knowledge. They spark curiosity that might lead to lifelong learning journeys for their audiences, encouraging critical thinking about sources, perspectives, and the complex tapestry of human experience. The armchair historian phenomenon represents a cultural shift in how we value and interact with historical knowledge, moving from passive consumption to active engagement and discussion. This democratic approach to history has created vibrant online communities where people from diverse backgrounds can share insights, debate interpretations, and collectively deepen their understanding of historical events and processes. The digital platforms hosting this content have themselves become important historical archives, documenting not only historical subjects, but also evolving methods of historical communication. From carefully researched YouTube documentaries to richly detailed podcasts and interactive social media discussions, armchair historians utilize various media formats to reach audiences where they are most comfortable. These creators often develop distinctive narrative styles and visual aesthetics that make their content immediately recognizable, building loyal followings that eagerly anticipate each new exploration of the past. Through consistent quality and engaging presentation, the most successful armchair historians have established themselves as trusted guides to history, earning respect not only from general audiences, but increasingly from academic historians, who recognize the value of effective public history communication. What truly distinguishes the armchair historian phenomenon is its emphasis on making history relevant to contemporary concerns without sacrificing historical accuracy. The best creators in this space strike a delicate balance between entertainment and education, never allowing dramatic flourishes to overshadow factual integrity. They acknowledge the complexity of historical interpretation while still providing clear narratives that help audiences make sense of chaotic historical periods. By highlighting connections between past events and current challenges, these historians help listeners develop historical consciousness, an awareness of how we are all positioned within ongoing historical processes. This perspective encourages us to see ourselves not as passive observers of history, but as active participants in shaping the historical record that future generations will study and interpret. The rise of digital platforms has revolutionized how historical knowledge is created and shared across the global community. What began as isolated efforts by history enthusiasts has grown into a significant cultural movement that challenges traditional gatekeeping of historical expertise. Today's Armchair, historians combine passionate storytelling with meticulous research, producing content that rivals professional documentaries in quality and often exceeds them in accessibility. Many creators have developed specialized focus areas, becoming respected authorities on particular historical periods, regions, or themes through years of dedicated study and communication. Their work has made historical learning a recreational activity that millions enjoy during commutes while exercising or as they drift off to sleep, integrating historical consciousness into the fabric of everyday life. The most prominent figures in this movement have transformed, from hobbyists to influential public intellectuals, accumulating subscriber counts that surpass the enrollment of major universities. Channels like The Armchair Historian, Oversimplified, and History Matters have developed distinct visual languages and narrative approaches that make complex historical events digestible without oversimplification. The creators behind these channels spend countless hours researching primary sources, consulting academic works, and crafting scripts that balance educational value with entertainment. Many employ teams of researchers, animators, and editors to produce content of increasingly professional quality, raising audience expectations for historical media across all platforms. This professionalization has created new career paths for history enthusiasts who might never have found outlets for their passion in traditional academic or media environments. The technological toolkit available to today's historical communicators would astonish previous generations of historians. Advanced animation techniques allow creators to visualize historical scenarios that were previously left to imagination, from ancient battle formations to architectural reconstructions of lost civilizations. Map animations help audiences understand complex geopolitical changes over time, making the abstract concrete through visual representation. These visual aids are particularly valuable for military history content, which remains among the most popular subjects in the armchair historian genre. Creators like Military History Visualized and Baz Battles have specialized in breaking down famous conflicts with detailed tactical analysis accessible to non-specialists. Their frame-by-frame examinations of battlefield decisions provide insights into leadership, technology, and the human factors that determine historical outcomes. Beyond the military focus, many channels explore social, cultural, and economic history with equal enthusiasm. Creators like Voices of the Past bring historical documents to life through dramatic readings, allowing audiences to hear the authentic voices of historical figures in their own words. Others, like Tasting History, combine historical research with practical demonstrations, recreating historical recipes to explore daily life in past eras through sensory experience. The diversity of approaches reflects the vast tapestry of human history itself, offering entry points for audiences with varying interests. This specialization allows viewers to find content creators whose perspectives and presentation styles resonate with their own learning preferences, creating more engaging and effective educational experiences than one-size-fits-all approaches to historical education. The impact of armchair historians extends far beyond entertainment, as they often serve as gateway figures introducing audiences to historical study. Teachers increasingly incorporate these digital resources into classroom instruction, recognizing their ability to generate student interest in historical topics. The visual language and narrative techniques pioneered by these creators have influenced how professional historians communicate with public audiences, encouraging more accessible approaches to academic history. Many university professors now maintain their own digital platforms, inspired by the success of independent creators in reaching broad audiences. This cross-pollination between academic and public history has enriched both spheres, breaking down artificial barriers between different forms of historical knowledge production and communication. What makes these digital historians particularly valuable is their ability to address historical topics often neglected in standard curricula. Many focus on non-Western histories or perspectives traditionally marginalized in mainstream historical narratives, broadening audience understanding of global history. Channels dedicated to African, Asian, and indigenous histories have found enthusiastic audiences eager to expand their historical horizons beyond European and American-centered narratives. This diversification of historical storytelling helps develop more nuanced understandings of historical causation and cultural development across different societies. By highlighting interconnections between civilizations throughout history, these creators combat ethnocentric perspectives that limit historical understanding, demonstrating how ideas, technologies, and cultural practices have always transcended political boundaries. The armchair historian phenomenon has also transformed how historical debates unfold in public discourse. When controversial historical topics arise in current events, audiences often turn to trusted digital historians for context and perspective. These creators frequently collaborate across platforms, engaging in respectful dialogue about historical interpretations despite differing viewpoints. Their modeled approach to historical disagreement, focusing on evidence and methodology rather than ideology, provides a valuable template for public discourse in an era of increasing polarization. This emphasis on historical thinking as a process rather than a fixed body of knowledge helps audiences develop critical evaluative skills applicable across many domains of life and citizenship. The digital history ecosystem has developed internal mechanisms for fact-checking and quality control that help maintain standards across the community. Creators regularly review each other's work, and audience members with specialized knowledge contribute corrections and additional context through comment sections. This collaborative approach to historical accuracy creates an environment of Continuous improvement, where creators openly acknowledge mistakes and update their content accordingly. Such transparency about the challenges of historical interpretation helps audiences understand history as an ongoing conversation rather than a settled narrative, making them more sophisticated consumers of all historical information they encounter. By demonstrating how historical knowledge evolves through new evidence and perspectives, armchair historians demystify the historical process itself. Looking toward the future, the armchair historian movement continues to evolve with technological innovations that promise even more immersive historical experiences. Virtual reality reconstructions of historical environments allow users to walk through ancient cities or famous battlefields with unprecedented detail. Artificial intelligence tools help creators generate historically accurate visuals and translations of primary sources, expanding the range of content they can effectively present. Despite these technological advances, the core appeal remains human storytelling that connects audiences emotionally with the experiences of people across time and space. The most successful creators maintain this human element while leveraging new tools to enhance their narratives, recognizing that technology serves the story rather than replacing the storyteller. The legacy of the armchair historian phenomenon will likely be its transformation of history from an academic subject to a popular passion. By making historical learning entertaining and accessible, these creators have nurtured a public that values historical understanding as essential cultural knowledge. Their work demonstrates that rigorous historical analysis need not be dry or exclusive, that accurate history can also be compelling, relevant, and even fun. As traditional media increasingly adopts techniques pioneered by independent digital historians, the line between academic and public history continues to blur in productive ways. Professional historians now regularly collaborate with content creators, recognizing their crucial role in building public support for historical preservation, research, and education. Perhaps the most important contribution of armchair historians is their reminder that history belongs to everyone, not just those with formal credentials or institutional affiliations. They have reclaimed the democratic essence of historical inquiry as a collective human project of understanding our shared past. Through their work, millions have discovered personal connections to historical narratives they might otherwise never have encountered, finding meaning and identity in the long human story that precedes our brief individual lives. As we face unprecedented global challenges, this historical consciousness provides valuable perspective on human resilience and ingenuity across centuries of change. The armchair historian movement reminds us that while specific historical knowledge is valuable, the historical thinking skills they cultivate may be their most important legacy, helping audiences navigate an uncertain future informed by the wisdom of the past. Welcome to our journey through the fascinating history of basketball in America. A game that began with peach baskets and a soccer ball has grown into a global phenomenon that transcends sport itself. The bouncing of the ball on hardwood floors, the swish of nets, and the squeak of sneakers have become iconic sounds in American culture. Basketball represents more than just athletic competition. It embodies the American spirit of innovation and transformation. Through periods of social upheaval and cultural revolution, basketball has served as both a reflection of American society and a catalyst for change. As we explore this remarkable story, we'll discover how a simple game invented in a Massachusetts gymnasium grew to capture the imagination of millions around the world. The story of basketball begins in December 1891, when Dr. James Naismith, a Canadian physical education instructor at the International YMCA Training School in Springfield, Massachusetts, sought to create an indoor activity for his students during the harsh New England winter. With a soccer, ball, and 2 peach baskets hung at opposite ends of the gymnasium, the first basketball game was played. The original rules were simple and quite different from the fast-paced game we know today. Players could not run with the ball, and after each successful basket, someone had to climb a ladder to retrieve the ball from the peach basket. Despite these humble beginnings, the game quickly spread throughout YMCAs across America, captivating players and spectators alike with its accessible nature and exciting play. By 1896, the first college basketball game was played between Hamline University and the Minnesota State School of Agriculture, marking the beginning of basketball's integration into American educational institutions. As basketball gained popularity, in the early 20th century, its rules and equipment evolved to enhance the flow and excitement of the game. The peach baskets were replaced with metal hoops with open bottoms, allowing the ball to pass through after each successful shot. The development of the backboard came as a response to spectators interfering with shots from the balconies of gymnasiums. By the 1920s, professional basketball leagues began to emerge, though they lacked the organization and stability of today's NBA. Teams like the original Celtics and the New York Renaissance, commonly known as the Wrens, dominated the basketball landscape with their innovative play and showmanship. The Harlem Globetrotters, formed in 1926, combined athletic skill with entertainment, bringing basketball to new audiences and challenging racial barriers that existed throughout American society. These early pioneers laid the groundwork for basketball's future expansion and cultural significance in American life. Basketball's growth paralleled America's own development and struggles, particularly regarding race relations and civil rights. In the segregated America of the early 20th century, African American players formed their own teams and leagues, showcasing incredible talent despite limited opportunities. The integration of basketball began slowly, with the NBA drafting its first black player, Chuck Cooper, in 1950, followed by Earl Lloyd becoming the first to play in an NBA game that same year. These breakthroughs came before many other aspects of American society were desegregated, highlighting basketball's role in pushing social boundaries. College basketball similarly reflected these tensions, with the historic 1966 NCAA championship victory by Texas Western College, now UTEP, featuring an all-black starting lineup against the all-white University of Kentucky team, becoming a powerful symbol in the fight against discrimination. Through these watershed moments, basketball emerged not just as a sport, but as a platform for social commentary and progress. The accessibility of basketball contributed significantly to its widespread adoption across diverse communities in America. Unlike many sports that required expensive equipment or large playing fields, basketball could be played with minimal resources in urban environments. Public courts became community centers in cities across America, fostering neighborhood pride and providing safe recreational spaces. The rhythm and style of urban basketball evolved into a distinct form of cultural expression, influencing music, fashion, and language beyond the confines of sport. Playground legends achieved local fame through their distinctive playing styles, creating a grassroots basketball culture that eventually influenced the professional game. This democratic aspect of basketball allowed talent to emerge from all socioeconomic backgrounds, creating pathways for upward mobility that might otherwise have been inaccessible. The basketball court became a proving ground where skill and determination could overcome societal barriers, embodying the American ideal of meritocracy in its purest form. The formation of the National Basketball Association in 1946, originally called the Basketball Association of America, marked the beginning of the modern era of professional basketball in America. After merging with the National Basketball League in 1949, the NBA began its journey toward becoming a major sports institution. Early NBA stars like George Mikan, known as basketball's first superstar, helped establish the league's legitimacy through their skill and drawing power. The introduction of the shot clock in 1954 transformed the game from a slow, methodical contest to the fast-paced spectacle familiar to modern fans. During the 1960s, the rivalry between Bill Russell's Boston Celtics and Wilt Chamberlain's Philadelphia 76ers captivated audiences and demonstrated basketball's potential for dramatic competition. Russell's leadership led the Celtics to an unprecedented 11 championships in 13 years, establishing one of sport's greatest dynasties. Meanwhile, Chamberlain's individual brilliance, including his famous 100-point game in 1962, showcased the spectacular individual achievements possible within the sport. The 1970s represented a period of both challenge and innovation for basketball in America. The NBA faced competition from the upstart American Basketball Association, ABA, known for its red, white, and blue ball, and emphasis on a more flamboyant style of play. The ABA introduced concepts like the three-point line and slam dunk contest that would later become staples of basketball culture. Players like Julius Dr. J. Irving embodied this exciting approach with his gravity-defying dunks and creative playmaking. Financial pressures eventually led to a merger between the leagues in 1976, with 4 ABA teams joining the NBA and bringing their innovative spirit. This decade also saw college basketball's popularity soar, particularly during March Madness, the NCAA's championship tournament that captured the nation's attention with its unpredictable outcomes and exciting finishes. The 1979 NCAA championship game between Magic Johnson's Michigan State and Larry Bird's Indiana State became the most watched college basketball game in history, foreshadowing their legendary NBA rivalry that would help save the struggling professional league in the coming decade. As basketball entered the 1980s, the NBA was transformed by the rivalry between Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, whose contrasting styles and personalities captivated a national audience. Their teams, the Los Angeles Lakers and Boston Celtics, dominated the decade and reignited interest in professional basketball. The arrival of Michael Jordan in 1984 elevated the sport to unprecedented heights of global popularity. Jordan's extraordinary athletic ability, combined with his competitive drive and marketing appeal, made him the face of basketball worldwide. His championship runs with the Chicago Bulls in the 1990s created a golden age for the NBA, with television ratings and merchandise sales reaching record levels. Jordan transcended sport to become a cultural icon, influencing fashion, advertising, and entertainment far beyond the basketball court. His famous Air Jordan sneaker line with Nike revolutionized sports marketing and created a lasting connection between basketball and street fashion. The Dream Team's dominant performance at the 1992 Olympics in Barcelona, featuring Jordan, Johnson, Bird, and other NBA stars, introduced elite American basketball to global audiences and accelerated the sport's international growth. The international expansion of basketball represents one of the most significant developments in the sport's history. Following the Dream Team's Olympic showcase, basketball's popularity exploded around the world. Foreign players began entering the NBA in greater numbers, bringing diverse playing styles and expanding the league's global appeal. Pioneers like Hakeem Olajuwon from Nigeria, Dirk Nowitzki from Germany, and Yao Ming from China demonstrated that basketball excellence could emerge from any corner of the globe. The NBA strategically cultivated this international growth through exhibition games, development programs, and media partnerships that brought American basketball to new audiences. By the early 21st century, the NBA had fans in over 200 countries and territories, broadcasting games in dozens of languages. This globalization created a virtuous cycle, as international interest generated more talent development overseas, which in turn produced more international stars who further expanded the game's reach. Basketball became a shared cultural language that transcended national boundaries, with courts appearing in villages and cities across every continent. Throughout its evolution, basketball has consistently reflected broader societal trends while simultaneously influencing American culture. From racial integration to globalization, the sport has often served as both a mirror and a catalyst for social change. The increasing prominence of women in basketball, particularly following the passage of Title IX in 1972 and the formation of the WNBA in 1996, paralleled the ongoing struggle for gender equality in American society. As basketball moved into the digital age, social media transformed how fans engaged with the sport, allowing players to build personal brands and connect directly with audiences worldwide. The activism of modern players on issues like racial justice and voting rights continues basketball's tradition of social engagement, with athletes using their platforms to advocate for causes beyond the court. From its humble invention in a Massachusetts gymnasium to its current status as a global cultural force, basketball's journey embodies the dynamic, ever-changing nature of American society itself. As we look toward the future, basketball will undoubtedly continue to evolve, reflecting and shaping our world in ways that transcend sport. As we conclude our exploration of basketball's rich history in America, we're reminded that sports are never just games, but reflections of our collective journey. From peach baskets to global phenomenon, basketball's evolution mirrors America's own story of innovation, struggle, and reinvention. The figures who shaped the game, from James Naismith to Michael Jordan, from playground legends to international stars, have left an indelible mark on our cultural landscape. Basketball courts, whether in gleaming professional arenas or on asphalt playgrounds with chain nets, continue to serve as spaces where communities gather, where dreams take flight, and where the next chapter of this remarkable story unfolds. The enduring appeal of basketball lies in its accessibility, creativity, and capacity for showcasing human potential at its most spectacular. As new generations pick up the ball and create their own innovations, basketball's place in American history remains secured not just by its past achievements, but by its limitless future possibilities.